Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Starlit Shelf, where we talk about books, stories, and the authors who bring them to life. Today, I have Danielle M. Orsino here, author of A Fool's Journey. Thank you so much, Danielle, for being here. I'm excited to have you.
I'm so excited. You're actually the first interview I've done for A Fool's Journey. So that's the first time I've actually heard it.
Oh, oh
So
my.
I was kind of taken back, like, oh, that's the
You
first
know,
time.
look at that. Look at how pretty it is.
Well, kind of
And I love
exciting.
that the Fool is right there, tarot card. Don't mind my horrific nails. Anyways, but I feel like it's been such a long time coming because I feel like you were one of the first people to sign up to work with me. And so we've been kind of communicating through messages and comments for a
Mhm.
long time. So I'm glad we finally
Yeah,
made it.
I think it has been a while now that you
Yeah,
mentioned it. I'm like, yeah, this does feel like a long time coming.
I
You're
feel like
right.
it has been. Yeah. So I'm super excited. We're heading into May. Your A Fool's Journey is going to be featured in the book club. So we're going to have people reading your book. How are you feeling about it?
I'm always, whenever that happens, I'm nervous, excited, and dreading all at the same time.
Yeah.
You want to
Yeah.
pull the covers over your head and then peek out and go, you reading it? No? Okay. And then go right back. It's that feeling. It's almost like the first day of school
Yeah.
constantly.
I can't even imagine, especially because, authors put their heart and soul into their work. And so to put that out there for anyone to see, to critique, it must be very stressful. How do you handle that?
I got the best advice I got was from Cleet Barrett Smith, who's my developmental editor. He told me Goodreads and all of those places, he's like, one, they're not for you. He's like,
Yeah.
those are for readers. He's like, think of it as Yelp.
Hmm.
He's like,
Yeah.
people who are going to use that service, go on it. He's like, in every book you write, think of it as your yearbook picture.
Mm.
He's like, at that time, you thought you were hot. He's like, blue eyeshadow, whatever your
Yeah.
hairstyle was. He's like, and you probably were. He's like, that was the best you could give.
Yeah.
He's like, you can't go back and change it. So leave it.
Yeah.
He's like, just, the next one will be this and the next one will be that. He's like, you can't fix it. So just
Yeah.
be proud of it. Look at
Hmm.
it and go, I remember where I was at that moment
Yeah.
and move on. He's like,
Hmm.
because there's nothing you can do about it. He
Yeah.
says, and people looked at your yearbook picture and went, what the heck was she thinking? He's like, they're going to do the same thing with your book.
But some people will be like, dang, she looks
Exactly.
good.
And
Yeah.
and he was like, so just look at it as a point, a blip on the radar and go. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, it still hurts, but sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I'll
I
try.
think, yeah, I think the hardest part is when you know where the story's going as the author
Hmm.
and you get critiques like somebody was like, this should have been a prequel. And I'm like,
Mm.
excuse me. I'm like, you have no idea where I'm going.
Yeah. And actually, that's kind of a big thing about what I want to talk about today. So, I mean, we'll get into that a little bit later, but A Fool's Journey is a setup book, in my opinion, right? The two main characters don't even meet until I think it was
Let's not give
79%.
it away. But yeah,
Oh,
yeah, they
okay.
meet
Got it.
later.
But yeah, but they
Yes.
meet way later in the book, and
Yes.
it's like they don't even communicate until the last quarter of the book, and it's like
Yeah.
you're like, damn, where's book two? I need it because I need to see what happens with this, and so that's something I want to touch on later. But can you give any viewers that are going to tune into this, what is A Fool's Journey about?
A Fool's Journey is paranormal, urban fantasy mishmash together. Now, it is a trilogy romantasy, and a lot of people have fought me on this, but romantasy does not mean they're screwing by chapter 5. This
Mm.
is a slow burn. It's
Hmm.
also a bit of an intellectual thing.
Hmm.
Like you got to look for the keys, but
Hmm.
basically, it's the CIA has a secret paranormal division that just keeps tabs on threats to national security that are of paranormal nature. And one of their agents, Agent Graham, who gets to the agency by different types of means, we'll put it like that. He's got his own backstory. he heads a division that just looks at succubi.
Mm-hmm.
And he's finally found the one he's been looking for, because that's always how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of just doing a bag and tag, which is what they call it, and you'll find out what a bag and tag is later, he decides he's going to put together this elaborate plan. And this poor little nurse in Westchester County who has no idea what she is, she just thinks she's weird, becomes his obsession. But it's not an obsession like a Lifetime movie.
Yeah.
It's different. And so this sets it all up where you meet everybody and you kind of get a feel for the moving pieces. And then I like to say the hunter becomes the hunted.
Oh.
But as the story progresses, the hunter doesn't know that the tables have turned. He kind of he really thinks he's still in control here. And you get to see more of the emotional arc and the ethical arc. And that's really where we're setting things up.
Yeah, because I feel like Agent Graham is someone that you're like, I don't really like his treatment of these women, and it's kind of hard. And I'm interested to see how his character arc goes once he meets Morgan and once he develops this relationship with her. I'm really interested to see how the tables turn in that regard. But that was something. So before I sign an author up for the book club, I read a little bit of the book to see if it's a good fit. And I think the part that like sold the deal on it for me was the fact that it was about a succubi. Like it's very rare I read about a succubi or like people know what that even is, because I remember reading fantasy back when I was like in middle school, and that's when I discovered what a succubi was. And I was like, the fact that Danielle included this as the main character is so incredibly interesting. Love it. And I love the idea. It's like almost like X-Files vibes, right? With the whole like subdivision of the CIA. It's very intriguing. And even though, and I want to touch on that romantasy thing, because the last author I talked to said something very similar. She's like, you can't call it romantasy apparently unless there's smut. And so like, I think that it's either romantasy or romantic fantasy. I don't know.
I'm confused.
I know. So
I'll
I'm
be
like,
honest.
I never knew that there were these like nuances.
I had no idea.
Yeah. But even though it's a slow burn. It is a slow burn, everybody. So prepare yourselves for that. But the moving pieces, all these other side characters, is set up. It is engaging enough on its own that it doesn't need that, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I think it's a really interesting concept. And I think this is the perfect setup to get people really wanting book 2. So I honestly really want to know like when is book 2 coming?
Well, here you go. I'm going to give you the scoop on book 2 here. Book 2 is already done out of editing. Final edits, it's finished. It already heads to typeset in July. The cover is done. Book 3's cover is done. Book 3 goes to final edits June. We plan on doing somewhat of a rapid release for this. So the plan is to release book 2 in October before Sarah J. Maas, so nobody get on my case. And book 3 by Valentine's Day. So you'll get 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
And because I cannot leave. Look, I love a good cliffhanger. Yeah. And my readers know I love that. And I love making you squirm.
Yeah.
After I wrote these 2, I went, oh, I can't do that. That is so mean. Even I went, like my husband looked at me. He went, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you just know. He's like, this is mean for you. Because I think we were watching like Castlevania, the anime, and it ended. And I went, oh my God, what are they doing? He goes, oh, it's not so nice when it happens to you.
You don't like it, yeah.
And I looked at him. I went, is that me? He goes, uh-huh. And I went, oh. And I was like, oh, no, that doesn't feel good. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, all right. So this one, I'm not going to make you wait. I actually even took a little bit of book 3 and put it in book 2. Because I was going to end a little bit more of a cliffhanger. And I was like, I'm like, wow, that's, And I went back to Cleet and I was like, I'm going to move this piece. And he goes, well, that's giving the audience some satisfaction. He goes, but not too much. And I'm like, Yeah. Yeah. I'm just gonna move this over a little bit here.
I love his
So
input.
I did have to do some juggling because I was thinking about my readers more
Hmm.
and how I would feel.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
always think about my readers, but this one was me really sitting down going, are they going to hate me for this? And there was a lot. So I'm like, we're going to, we're going to
Mhm.
make this release. It would have been a quicker release if Sarah J. Maas had not announced her thing.
Yeah.
We were actually going to do October, January,
Hmm.
but then she made the release announcement. And I was like, oh, like real. And she like literally picked our days. And I'm
Yeah.
like, curse you,
That
foiled again.
that's so
So,
hard. So many people, because obviously I'm fairly well known now as like an indie author supporter, and I had a lot of authors commenting on some of my posts about the frustration of dealing with that and
yes,
feeling like they are competing against, their David versus Goliath kind of thing when it
yes,
comes to book releases. And it's just so unfortunate. Like I get it. Like, yeah, I like Sarah J. Maas too. Okay. Like, and yes, I'm going to read these books. I know I will, but
I
it's
never
just so
read them.
unfortunate how nothing else is getting any visibility because of that. And people are switching up their plans simply because they don't want to get buried underneath the avalanche that is Sarah
It's
J.
the out.
Maas.
You have to think about the algorithm and all of that. I'm going to be honest. I haven't read any of her books, and
Oh,
it's
really?
no tea, no shade on
Yeah,
her.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was just when I was doing these books and even doing edits, I don't read anybody else's stuff because I never want to be accused of stealing or plagiarizing. I do not read anything in my genre during that time.
Okay.
And I get very like, I go in my cocoon. Like, I did not see Game of Thrones till season 6.
Mm.
And then I was like, okay, I can watch it now because volume 1 was pretty much
Yeah,
done. And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, I can jump in now.
Hmm.
I just kind of go into a bubble and I'm like, nope, I don't want any outside influence.
Yeah.
So I have never read Sarah J. Maas. I have never read Harry Potter, Rebecca Yaros. I knows none of that. So
Oh my.
I just know the algorithm and how it treats the books.
Hmm.
And I'm like, we can't pick those. We just can't do it. And I've been traditionally published, hybrid published, and I'm on my own now because, tale as old as time. They took the money, they ran, they screwed me over,
Yeah, yeah.
all of that. And so when indie authors say, I'm on my own, and people are like, oh, so is your book not good? It's like most of us just want control. And we were doing all the work to begin with. That it's like, why not just do it for myself? Because then if it fails, it's my doing
Hmm.
versus a publisher who just either didn't get you
Yeah.
or they didn't know what they're doing.
Hmm.
If I'm going to fail, I'll fail on my own. And
Yeah.
I would rather have that. An example was when I was on the Tamron Hall show and they put me as an indie author to watch. And they did this I had like a full 2-3 minute segment, which is on a national talk show.
Yeah, yeah.
When you're a little bitty author,
Mm.
that's a huge thing.
For sure.
And
Yeah.
they loved when I was on the cover of my book. So they were like, can we get pictures of you like behind the scenes doing the photo shoot? I'm like, yeah, I just happened to be doing the cover for my for book 6.
Hmm.
Great. I did all this. They featured it. And then my publisher was like, so we're going to change your covers. And marketing was literally like, that's suicide. Don't do it. And they never gave me a reason. It was their ideas to put me on the cover, not mine.
Hmm.
And I had gone with it. I never got paid for the covers. I had to do all the cosplay I made. I had to put the money out for those photo shoots. And then they took it all away. And when the show aired, like in syndication, my
Hmm.
covers were changed to typeset.
Wow.
And people were like, they were going to them like, what are you had a national talk show pushing. And they actually, I asked the Tamron Hall show to put the logo in the corner for them.
Hmm.
And they were like, yeah, sure, and they did nothing with it. And that was one of the things that really pushed me out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So when I had the
Understandably so. Yeah.
when I had the chance to leave, I was like, we out,
Mm-hmm.
because I
Mm-hmm.
could never get that back.
Mm-hmm. How
So
unfortunate.
a lot of when people say, oh, you're just an indie author and they can't compete with the big three and blah, 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 it's because there's mistakes made
Mm-hmm.
on the other side. And yes, with Sarah J. Maas, Rebecca Yarros, Colleen Hoover, they have that power behind them,
Mm-hmm.
but the fan base is also rabid.
Yeah.
And that helps push, and that pushes the algorithm and
Mm-hmm.
everything like that. So it's hard
Mm-hmm.
for us to be like, oh, my date is the same date as Sarah J. Maas. I got to
Yeah.
redo the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it does get to be, you have to know all of it. Like you have to be
Mm-hmm.
thinking not just about your characters, your cover. It's like, I got to think 10 steps down the road.
I don't know
And
how
that
you guys
becomes a
do it.
lot.
I don't know how you guys do it. The indie authors, I mean, obviously I do, but like, I have so much respect for you guys. And the more I educate myself about the process and what all you guys have to do in order to get your books out there, get your books in people's hands. And it's overwhelming. I don't know. One step at a time, I guess. I don't know how you
But it's people
manage
like you
it.
that make it better for us.
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean, I was so grateful to you when you were like, "Yeah, I'm going to do it." I was like, "Did she say yes?" I mean, it was one of those moments where I was like, "Hold on, hold
Oh,
on." So
thank you.
I was thrilled, and I see the support that you give us, and it's very rare. So
Hmm.
as indie authors, we're always grateful to someone like you who pushes us.
Well, I mean, if we want to have the algorithm shift so that it's not just, these handful of authors that are just overtaking our socials, right? Like it takes more than just the authors themselves to talk about the books, right? And so,
Yes.
I always say, I mean, I feel like I'm a broken record, but everything that I say bears repeating, and I don't care how often I need to say it because I will keep
No,
saying
you're
it.
right. You're right.
It's I wish people hyped up indie books the way that they hype up like a Sarah J. Maas book. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And because I've read so many incredible indie books, and when you originally started talking, you said that, there's that misconception that, oh, well, since you're self-published, that means that your book's not good enough. And this is one of those things that I repeat over and over and over again.
Yes.
That has nothing to do with it. And it's, again, more about control. But I've read so many incredibly talented authors' work, and it's just that we need to support them the way that we support the big authors, but people are wanting to talk about the big authors. Why? Because the algorithm's going to pick it up and they have a better chance of going viral.
Viral.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, you see my content and but like
Yes.
it's so frustrating because all of the individual stuff that I put out about an author, a specific author, is such a huge difference between that and like the general content that I put out about indie authors as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I'm seeing this and I'm not even the author. I'm posting about someone else, but because it's an individual author, it is just going nowhere. And it's like this is what you guys are dealing with all the time because you're trying to promote yourself. So you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about an individual author. And it's like
Yes.
I I'm getting frustrated and I can't even imagine having it be my work that I am trying like I'm my livelihood. Like I put my heart and soul into it. I'm trying to
Yeah.
make money and it's like I'm shouting into the void. Like I can't imagine how that feels being the author themselves. Like I already feel bad because like I'm trying to help and it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't seem to be helping and I'm like I don't know what to do.
It
And
is helping. It is.
in some small ways it is and I mean every time I connect a reader to the author then I'm happy, but it takes so much work and again that repetition and broken record and being like, hey, look at this person, look at this person, look at this person, like can somebody look at this person, it's just it's so frustrating and authors do so much, whether it be them doing everything themselves or getting people to help them do it. But still, they have to think about all of these things and pay this money and whatever. And I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but
No, no,
this
no.
is just
There's
something
that. You're right. There's a lot of moving parts that you have to
there's
think
so
about
many.
that people don't understand. And I'll say this quickly. My first book was traditionally published, Locked Out of Heaven, the original first edition.
Yeah.
You will find so many spelling errors because they told me they edited it and they didn't. I found out because it was my friend who owned the publishing house that she said she gave it a proofread, but gave it to her husband, who gave it to his secretary, who was like, I'm not doing this. And it went. Do you know how many spelling errors are in that book that I was mortified? And I had to pay $40 every time I uploaded a new version of it. I paid it. Yeah. So after 5, I was like, done. Yeah. I don't care what you find. I'm like, go find them. I was so annoyed that I'm like, and people were like, it's the is spelled TEH. I'm like, I don't care. I'm dyslexic. And I was. So I was just like, that's another thing. Never tell a line editor you're dyslexic.
Yeah.
Never. Don't. I had one totally take advantage of it. Don't do it. No. But I was just mortified. So I can honestly say this version of Locked Out of Heaven, and I know that's not the book we're talking about, I was so proud of because it finally has everything. Just like A Fool's Journey, I'm finally like, it's my book. Like that's the first book that we've done beginning to end is truly mine. Nobody was there to go, leave that chapter out. I don't think they're going to relate to this character. That book is truly mine. And I can like hold it as an indie author and go, you're mine. Yeah. Like it was my idea to say, let's put a QR code with the playlist in it. So for the chapter by chapter, because I was listening to music and to me, I did write to the bands to see if because I had lines of the music lyrics in the book and legal was like, no, Speedy. I'm like, yeah, but it's like in a commercial, like, you can use 14 seconds. They were like, no, you can't. No, baby. And I did write to a lot of the bands. I think one record company got back to me and they were like, sure, for $25,000 and showing up. And I'm like, huh? Excuse me? What? I think the New York Times wanted $5,000 for me to use a newspaper article. And then that only let me use it for like a certain amount of time. And I'm just like, wow, what? It was one of those moments of what? And I'm like, no, I can't do, I'm an indie author. I'm not paying you.
$25,000. That's insane.
And I think I don't even think that was the real amount. I think they were just throwing it out there. Like, there's no way this chick's paying for it. So, and my God, it was like, I got to get around this because music was such a big part of this book. But if I had been with a publisher, no, that would have been left out. They would have been like, rewrite it. So when you're an indie author and you have that ability, you have to like pivot. But it's kind of cool when you do, and you're like, I got an idea. Yep. And you move.
Yeah, I feel like, again, the control that you guys have over your work is one of the main reasons people choose to self-publish. I think that there is a mosquito in here and I am going crazy. I feel like I got bit. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. But so let's circle back to A Fool's Journey. I was really intrigued by the fact that you included a succubi and kind of like the X-Files vibe with this like secret department that deals with like paranormal, and you list multiple different kinds of like creatures. But what inspired this story originally?
The story is actually inspired by a real person. Agent Graham is an actual person. Oh. He's one of my patients. I was a nurse working in a Lyme disease clinic. Oh. And this patient came in as the same day as my very first day there. So we hit it off. We were just like, wow, we're both in this new place, So we just got it. He was a big football fan. He was a Ravens fan, Giants fan. So we would constantly kind of go back and forth. Yeah. I was the weekend nurse and the holiday nurse. So I was there because we were open 7 days a week. Okay. And we became close. It was just kind of one of those things. After about a year and a half of him dripping every day, he informed me, oh, I don't live here. I live 5 hours away. I've uprooted my whole life to get treatment. And he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I'm like, oh. So he struck a deal with the doctor and was like, okay, so I'm going to go home and I'm going to drive up here on Wednesdays, drip for 2 hours, turn around and go home. I'm like, that's a 5 hour drive. And then he's like, I'll come back Friday, drip Friday, Saturday, Sunday, early Monday, and go home. And I'm like, this is going to last, if we're lucky, a week, maybe two.
Mm-hmm.
Within 2 weeks, he's like, Danny, I'm not doing this anymore. And I'm like, you have to, because he was still showing big symptoms.
Yeah.
And I said, you'll backslide. So he goes, well, then you better entertain me and keep me in this chair. And I'm like, okay, tell me something about yourself. And he goes, well, I was recruited by the CIA out of college. And I'm like, how did this not come up while we were arguing about the Giants and the Ravens? Like, what? And he was like, obviously I didn't take the job. And I'm like, for what? He's like, the trends and intentions, division and whatever, like what grandma's. And I was like, you should have taken it. We could have found out what was going on in, Area 51. And I made a bunch of jokes.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, you know where Lyme comes from, right? And he goes, Plum Island. I went, no. And he was like, no. I go, the Fae. I have no idea why I said that. And he goes, who? And I just started talking about the Fae. I have no idea. I wasn't reading any Fae books.
Yeah.
So basically, I started telling him part of volume 1. And then I said, I know why you're really here. And he goes, to get cured? I go, no. A secret agent man like you? I'm like, you're here to find out if the hot nurse is really a Fae human hybrid. And he goes,
God.
And he kind of looked around and then he went, yeah, that's why I'm here. And so every time he came in, I told him a different part of the Fae history story. And sometimes it was about this agent and the nurse. And sometimes it was just back about the Court of Light and the Court of Dark.
Yeah.
And I kept doing that.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was just making crap up, like whatever. And then finally one day he was like, you need to go home and write this down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, nah, I'm going to PA school. I'm going to pump some faces full of Botox. Like my life is set out. I know what I'm doing. And then other people would hear the story and go, so what happened next? And I'm like, what? And they were like, the other day you were talking about the dragon and da-da-da. And I'm like, oh. And I would and then finally my husband was like, you need to start writing it down. He's like, you really do.
That's so funny. That's so
And I started writing it. And so I call him and I still ask him like for references on things, but the physical description is him. Like there's a lot. Even if you look at the book, the male, Agent Graham on the cover is part my husband and part him.
Interesting.
So, and Morgan is part me. So
yeah, I was going to say, so is M for Morgan?
That's okay. So the reason I have to use Morgan, I just came up with because I liked Rachel Morgan from the Hollow series from Kim Harrison.
Oh, okay.
I've always liked that name and I just thought it was great. I used my middle initial because of an issue with the Kardashians. She had a baker named Danielle Orsino who messed up one of her cakes early on in the series and she complained about her. And so I had another Instagram that was personal and people started hitting me up on it being like, how could you have screwed up that cake? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what the heck are you people talking about? And so finally I looked her up and I'm like, and she started going, I'm not a writer. I don't know what you're talking about. So I've always used my middle initial to differentiate myself.
Okay.
That I'm not the baker.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we've done it. She's blonde. We look nothing alike, but I'm like, okay, I'm not the baker. I didn't mess up a Kardashian cake. Believe me, if I did, I'd be selling more books. But yeah.
I think it's funny that their fans are like upset over a cake. That's so funny. Yeah. So you said that these characters are inspired by you and a man that you met while you were a nurse. So who's your favorite character or what was your favorite scene to write and why?
From this book, my favorite character, believe it or not, is I love Director Bynes. Oh. I love her.
Okay.
because I will give you the biggest scoop. I have not ever said this. Director Bynes was originally a man. I love her so much.
Yeah,
She's my
there she
favorite.
is. Yeah.
She was originally written as a man,
Okay.
as Robert Bynes. And I
Mm.
had this actor in my head and this whole thing. Maurice Bernard from General Hospital wanted to play him. And I knew him, and a friend of mine knew him, and he was saying he had read the book kind of in its first iteration, the first draft, and he was like, I should totally be Director Bynes. And so I kind of started modeling the character a little bit off of Sonny Corinthos, because I was like, I could kind of see that. So I used that. And as I got to the end, I went, what if she was a woman? It just hit me. And I was like, what if there was a woman running this whole thing?
I love
and
that.
I backed up and I started watching the old X-Men again, the cartoon.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then I saw something about Felicia Rashad, and I went, wait a minute. And I listened to Storm's voice, and I was like, and I was looking at that and I'm going, that's Bynes. And it just clicked all of a sudden.
Interesting.
I was like, I had Felicia Rashad in my head, and the voice was Storm from the X-Men. And I went, oh my God, that's Bynes. And it just like, I was like, no, she's a woman. And I went back and redid the whole thing. And I went to Cleet and I was like, Bynes is a woman. And he was like, what? Huh? And I'm like, it's not a guy.
Oh, sorry.
It's Sophia Bynes. And he was like, okay, have a great day. He was just like, and in my head, I just kept seeing, like, I just started thinking about the women that were really strong. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all of a sudden I was seeing like Uhura from Star Trek. And I'm like, these women would not take any crap. And I'm like, they would keep them all in line. And I was like, that's my girl.
I like that
and that's
too.
how I really like that. And then one of my favorite scenes is the DOD presentation.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I enjoyed doing all that research to kind of get that alternative history correct. I'm writing about tinks and, all that stuff. I had one of my nursing instructors read it to make sure my science was sciencing, since I can't say my math is mathing. I did that. So all of that I really enjoyed, because I felt like it took the book to another level and out of just being just a paranormal book. It made it plausible.
I really like the dynamic. Well, not dynamic, but like just the, oh my gosh, what's that word? Subjuxtaposition or what? Juxtaposition of like Bynes as this like incredibly strong, focus, like will not stray, very kind of like a badass director of this division of the CIA. And then, but all the other women in this book are like primarily the succubi, who are, kind of pushed down and, are, entrapped and like are having to do what others are telling them to do. But then you have Bynes, who is in charge and telling everybody what to do. And so it was nice to have that woman that we kind of all want to see in Bynes.
Thank you. Yeah, I liked writing her just as a plain human, dealing with all this and wanting to see the strategy go on, how she handles Lincoln, how she handles everything, knowing that there's a history between her and Mistress Cora, all of that stuff. I mean, you get the idea that, okay, she is not straight. And I do it in such a way, Lincoln has his little comments about it and everything, but she's been living in a man's world.
The part where the Cora calls her by her first name and everyone's like,
what? Yeah, that kind of
what just happened.
So we've all been there in a meeting where our boss, who's like this way, and then somebody out of the blue that they know says something, and you're like, here it comes. And then nothing happens, and you're like, huh?
Oh, well, then that must mean something.
And then you start reading into it, and you're like, I really want to, okay, pay attention again. Like you had that happen. So I wanted the dynamics to feel very relatable. So everybody kind of knew what that's like.
Yeah, I like the scarab too.
Yeah, Scarab's a lot of fun. I liked
Yeah.
writing Scarab. He's
Yeah.
somewhat based on somebody I know. So I kind of pulled from that a little bit.
Yeah.
But Scarab's a lot of fun. All
He's
the places in the book, are based on somewhere real. Like Modern Druid is a real store.
okay.
All of that. Lyndhurst Mansion, all of
Yeah,
that's
I was
real.
gonna say there was something that was mentioned. Was it where she first met up with him? Was it in a cat or a university or
Oh no,
something?
that's Lyndhurst Mansion. That's where they filmed Dark Shadows, A
Okay.
Winter's Tale. Yeah, that's real.
Never looked it up, but that was one that I was like, I want to look up and see if this place actually exists. But I don't think I ever
Yes,
got around to it because I can't. I'm so ADHD when I read. Like I'll go on all these like tangents. But I was like, that was one. That was the one that stuck out to me. That I'm like, I want to look up and see if this place actually exists. So that's really cool.
it
I like
does have a
that.
rose garden and everything she described. That's really in their rose garden. That's kind of one of the
Very
things they're
cool.
known for.
Yeah.
But I would visit there often, take pictures, and try to see what she'd see. And I walked exactly where she walks. That's the path I walked from the parking lot.
That's
And I
so
took
cool.
pictures as I went to kind of, okay, what would this feel like?
Yeah.
And just try to get how she is. I loved that it was in Hudson Valley.
Yeah.
I was there almost my whole life, so I know where everything is.
Hmm.
And I wanted people to kind of get the feel of, Westchester County, Hudson Valley, and not just think, you know, Chappaqua,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Rich, Scarsdale, and
Yeah. Yeah.
understand there's this place where regular folk are.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then it's got these little pockets of history, not
Hmm.
just Sleepy Hollow.
Right.
So I wanted to
Is that
throw
where
that in
Sleepy
there.
Hollow is?
Yeah. And it doesn't look like anything from the TV.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not like, yeah. I wish we looked like that. No, we don't.
No.
But it's cute.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
like that. So
So,
it's
what was one of your biggest challenges while writing this book specifically?
that book specifically.
Hmm.
I lost confidence on and
Mm.
off in that book.
Okay.
I was always worried that Morgan was coming across too whiny. Could people relate to her?
Hmm.
I was always worried about it,
Yeah.
because she was so different than who I had written in volume one and the women in volume one.
Yeah.
And I had put so much of myself in Morgan, from the tattoo on her left shoulder. I have a Wonder Woman tattoo. That's
Yeah.
what she is,
Yeah. Yeah.
all of these things that I was like, I don't know how far I'm going. Maybe I'm going too far. And not, I was really losing confidence.
Hmm.
And so this one there was so much that I'm like, and I kept questioning everything. It
So,
went through a
how did
lot
you
of
know you were at
iterations.
I'm sorry, what?
It went through a lot of iterations.
Okay. Well, what I was gonna ask is, how did you know when to stop? Like, how did you know you're like, you know what, this is it. This is where it's at. I'm done questioning myself. I feel good about where I'm at.
I just had to send it to the editor. I just
Oh.
had to hit send. I was just like, I have to stop playing with it
Hmm.
because I was messing with it till the day it was due.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, stop. Just,
Mm.
I really had to hold back. And then I had to go and set my dates for all of them because
Okay.
I'm like, if I don't set a date, I'm going to keep messing with this.
Yeah.
And I had to just, okay, enough, 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 and just stop because I kept thinking I'm finding plot holes that don't exist. And my husband was like, there's no plot hole. And I'm like, no, no, no. Because if you think of it, he goes, "Babe, nobody's thinking of that." He's like, you are so far down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
He's like, pull back. Come on.
Yeah.
But I kept going back and forth. And I'm like, I think I went as far as I checked the birth date and checked like what the sky looked like that night
Mm.
and the day she was born. And I checked planets and I'm like, maybe there was really an astrological. And he was like,
That was something I was also interested in because of the astrology of that and like her birth and stuff like that. And I was like, I wonder if that actually did happen. You
oh,
know?
yeah, no, it did.
Yeah.
I went and found all that. And that's when he was like, come back to Earth.
Yeah.
He's
It,
like,
it
this
becomes
is
like a
getting far.
hyperfixation almost, right?
Oh, I went so far down that rabbit hole
Yeah.
that it was like, I had to stop and
Hmm.
just turn it in.
Yeah.
And I was constantly worrying. we debated the an urban paranormal romantasy.
Mm-hmm.
We went to marketing. This was debated for a very long time.
Okay.
And finally, somebody was like, it's a romantasy. And I'm like, okay, are we sure? Are we sure? And since then, we've been killed for it enough that I'm like, I'm just putting trilogy on the cover. I'm taking romantasy off
Yeah. Yeah.
because I was like, I can't, I'm just getting hit. But it was so weird to hear marketing people go, but it is. They were like, even when you read it, the main driving piece are these two characters. They were like,
Mm-hmm.
just because they don't get together in one.
Yeah.
And I had said, I'm like, well, maybe this should be a prequel. And they were like, it's not. They said, yes, it's a big setup. They
Yeah.
were like, but you need all of this information
Mm-hmm.
in order to get to where we're going to get to in book 3.
Yeah.
But I questioned everything in book 1. I mean, ridiculously, so much that I had to have it taken away from me.
Yeah.
Because I was just at the last minute, I put in the excerpt from book 2.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I put that in the last minute because I was like, I have to let people know. And my husband was like, all right, I'm just going to give this to you. He's like, but
Yeah.
after that, I'm taking it away. He's like, we're just
Mm-hmm.
sending it because you're off the deep end.
Yeah.
And I'm
Well, it's
like,
good that you have
okay,
that support and somebody who can be honest with you and be like, "Hey, you're getting way too down that rabbit hole.
yeah,
Let's dig yourself back out. Let's come back." Okay.
yeah,
But I'm glad you had that. But yeah, I think that this is honestly really common. Obviously, I interview authors a lot, but I think it was Haley Hamilton who also had that thing where she was like, I could have kept editing and editing. And I think she's honestly gone back to book 1 again, like after having already published it, and is like, I want to make some changes. But yeah, it's so hard because again, this is something that is very near and dear to your heart. You want it to be perfect. You have all these questions like, are people going to interpret this right? Is there a plot hole that I'm missing? There's all of these questions in your brain, and
yep,
it gets out of control very fast.
yeah. And I kept going back and forth, and I really was really cutting into my confidence. Like I
Yeah.
was really going, maybe this isn't the book I think it is.
Mm.
And then when the first couple of reviews came in, and I know somebody gave me like a 2.5-star review, and the review made no sense. They were like, this should have been a prequel, blah, blah, blah. They were like, but it's going to set up really good for book 2. And I'm like, that's not a 2.5-star, huh?
Yeah.
You know,
So yeah, I feel like when you know that you're reading a series, especially like 3 or more, I feel like you like duology, a lot should probably happen in book 1, right? But
mhm,
when you know that it's going to be a series, it's like book 1s are for the setup. It's for introducing characters, it's for the world building. And again, like, yes, it's a slow burn, but this series is a romantasy. And I feel like, so for instance, I'm reading a series right now via audiobook by the Twisted Sisters. So that's like Zodiac Academy writers.
mhm,
Um, the the two people that are, I'm assuming it's them, but the two people, like the love interests, one of them literally just met in book 2. The other ones, they still hate each other. There's like nothing going on right now. Nothing in regards to like romance or smut or anything like that. And it's like, you know,
yeah,
so this isn't new. This isn't strange. This isn't out of the ordinary. And so it's like when to hear that, it's like, but do you read slow burn romantic? Like, have you ever done that? Like, have you ever read a series? And like, because book 1s are always this setup. I don't know. It just seems like an obvious thing to me. So
I think some people, because I'm going to probably get in trouble for saying this. So I think there's a lot of books right now that are fast romantasy, fast fantasy, like fast fashion.
yeah,
There's some sheens out there, that like, yes, if you want your quick fix,
yeah,
I've always said I ain't one of them.
yeah.
That's just not who I am. So I think part of it is finding your audience.
Mm-hmm.
and knowing it, I thought by saying this is a very slow burn, like that was enough. Apparently it wasn't. So I have told people, like, this is the first book I've ever written that has spice, like this series. There is no smut, no spice, nothing in volume 1.
Yeah.
Because I was too embarrassed to write it, to be honest with you. And I had no idea where to put it. The scenes that I have in book 2 and book 3 especially, let me be clear, 3 took me over a month and a half because I just sat there going, here I go. Okay. Here, all right, I can't use that term. Nope, can't write that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God, people are going to think I actually do this. It was just one of those where I was like, breathe. Okay.
Yeah.
It took me a long time.
So you keep, volume 2 versus volume 1, because when I look on your like Amazon, so I see Legacies of Light and Dark, right? Because it's called the same thing, right?
Legacies of Light and Dark, a mythic fantasy series. Legacies of Light and Dark, a paranormal urban romantasy. They're all tied.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Okay.
You don't have to read one to read the other.
But the other one is volume 1?
Yeah. Yep. Okay. The other one is volume 1. This is all, he touches on it in the DOD when he's explaining the Fae. He thinks he knows what it is.
Oh.
But that ain't it. And if you're listening to the way Christine talks and Scarab talks, you'll catch. So if somebody has read volume 1, they'll be like, oh my God, I think I know who that is. If somebody else read volume 2, they're just like, who are these people? It will all converge in volume 3, where both of those worlds meet. And that is the plan.
Okay.
So by the end of book 3
of this one,
things will yes.
Okay.
By the end of book 3 of that one, things will start happening.
Okay.
Where you'll be like, who's this dude that just walked in? To where if you read volume 1, you'll be like, oh my God, that's so and so. And you're like,
interesting.
But everybody else will be like, huh, what's happening here? What's going on here?
So would you say it's kind of like a multiverse kind of thing, or is it just like different like groups of characters converging into one?
They're existing simultaneously right now.
Okay.
And now it's time to finally meet. What you get in volume 1 is how the Fae came to be.
Okay.
And all of their actions that have led up to now.
Okay.
And they've done some stuff that have given us, we wouldn't have the succubi without them.
Okay. But you don't, I think you make it very clear in the beginning of this book that you do not have to have read volume 1 in order to understand. And I didn't feel
this is totally it's one of those things where if you did read it, you're like, oh, cool. Okay. And you have little puzzle pieces and there's little Easter eggs and you're like, oh, I think I know who that is. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
But if you didn't, you're just like, okay. And then by the time you get to it, you're like, I can jump in now because I have somebody to root for. I've got Graham, or maybe it's Cooper, it depends, or Morgan. You're kind of like, I'm in that world now because I'm rooting for so-and-so.
Okay. Yeah.
That's why I
felt lost in this book, just so you know. So,
okay. Thank you.
I felt like it was really well done, but the final question I have about the book, which I know we've kind of been all over the place today, me and you can talk a lot. But what do you hope readers take away from A Fool's Journey?
To be honest, I hope it's a little compassion in one sense.
Okay.
Because, obviously I want them to get lost and have that emotional and mental break from reality. There's enough going on out there. But I hope that they walk away with a little compassion, because I think we all know that one awkward person, male, female, not male, female, whatever you want to say, who is just like uncomfortable in social settings, or you don't quite get them. Instead of jumping to the conclusion of, oh, they're weird or they're standoffish, maybe there's more going on behind the curtain. Not supernatural, but just they're carrying baggage. Yeah. So maybe we can just be a little more compassionate toward them, or sensitive, instead of jumping that gun and making a snap judgment.
Assuming the worst of people, right? Like,
yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
think that is what I'd really like somebody to take away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout this three book arc, people can change.
Yeah.
People
Again,
can
I'm
change
really
and you can
interested to
find
see
yourself.
Graham because he's kind of a character that I think I even put it in my notes. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this man because the way that he views the succubi women, it just, but like, I feel like this now, but it makes me that much more interested to read the next couple of books because I know that Morgan's going to help him kind of see the light and have a change of heart. And I'm interested to see how he handles that. But that's like right now, the way, like, he seems like a normal guy, but it's just when he's talking about the succubi and how he just kind of doesn't have any empathy for them. And it's like, I don't understand. Like, I'm a very, very empathetic person. And
Right.
so I can't imagine having that like coldness towards a group of people and just being like, oh, well, we're just gonna put them in the cell and, drain them or whatever. And I forget what it was that they were doing in there. Um but yeah, anyways, he just is so cold towards them and it's like enter Morgan. And I think that it's gonna be really interesting to see him have that shift of perspective. And I don't know if that's what you mean by the compassion, but Graham's
Part of
view
it.
of the succubi, I hope that like I just hope that there's a big change because again, right now, Agent Graham, he's not my favorite person.
You shouldn't feel that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was the point. That's why book one needed to be the way it
yeah,
was,
yeah,
because I wanted people to close that book and go, is he creepy? Like,
yeah,
almost like,
yeah,
is is he like not a nice guy, and not
yeah,
know how to feel about him?
yeah,
Because what you see from this point on is Clark,
yeah,
his
yeah,
alias. So
yeah.
I wanted people to go, who is the real person, Graham
Mhm.
or Clark?
Yeah.
And not know,
Hmm.
because there's so much that's going to happen in 2 and 3, and you really have to almost not like him. But then you have to have Cooper, who's like his partner, that is just such a frat boy, and
Yeah,
you know to
yeah,
see like hyper masculinity, to go, all right, maybe there's something good in Graham. He's the
yeah.
lesser of two evils, kind of
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah,
But he has to go through all of this, and you have to be questioning, like, he really believes he's doing this for national security. Like, he's totally convinced himself that
hmm.
these women are just, oh my God, they'll drain you dry and they'll do this and they'll do
Yeah,
that, in order for him to keep going and doing what he's doing. Morgan, on the other hand, is just trying to blend in. She don't want she's in the metaphysical closet.
yeah, yeah. It's funny because she just thinks she's like hyper intuitive.
Yeah, and it's funny because even deep down, she knows that's not the case.
Yeah.
But she is really trying to be like, just stay in the lines, stay
Mm.
in my lane.
Yeah.
Even with
Hmm.
these weird things happening, she's like, maybe I imagined it.
Hmm.
It's just a horse with blinders
Yeah. Yeah.
trying to move forward
Hmm.
and ignore everything. And even when it still happens, she's still like, well, maybe that's not it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I can't see myself this way.
Hmm.
And she thinks it's the comic books. Like, I've read too many. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I've just read too many. So there's just so much going on there.
Yeah.
And that's
And
why I have to, like, the second book is very much the two of them
hmm.
establishing themselves,
Hmm.
and slowly that information about the real people behind it,
Hmm. Yeah.
and getting closer and closer to where you're like, how is this going to work out? He's lying to her. Like,
Yeah.
you're just going to sit back and go, girl, what you doing? Like,
Yeah.
and
But
with
who's the
Graham, I
other
had to do
woman?
that.
Who's the other woman? There's Cora, but then there's also this.
Christine is the arts council, is
Okay.
Cora's friend.
Okay. Okay. So, but she's the one that's like talking to the scarab, right?
Yes,
Okay. Okay.
they're close. Well,
And they're at the end of the book kind of talking about all of the things. And I'm like,
yes.
I'm so interested to get to know those two much better in book two. And I can't wait to see Morgan kind of come into her own. So,
Morgan will
oh,
come into a lot of things. Morgan will come into her own. Christine and Cora are the Waldorf and Stetler of everything. They're just going to
Oh,
tell you like it is
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
kind of give you the what are we doing here crap.
yeah, yeah.
And that's what they're kind of about. They're not there to mess around. They're
Okay.
just going to give it to you. They
Hmm.
pop up. They don't play as big of a part, but when they are there, it's to answer a question the reader has.
Yeah, I feel like they kind of remind me of the ants in Practical Magic. That's like
Yes. Yes.
I'm thinking of. But
Yep.
so let's talk about being an indie author. So, what first inspired you to become a writer? So, it sounds you were a nurse for a long
Yeah.
time. When did you start writing? Why did you start writing?
It was my patient and my husband who were like, go write this.
Oh,
That was
literally
it.
just okay. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know what to do. So I grabbed a journal. I've handwritten all of those books are handwritten and they're always handwritten first before I
Okay.
get to a computer. And I had no idea what I was doing. Nothing was done in order. There was no outline. I'd like to tell you it was well thought out. It was not.
Yeah.
Um, it was just originally A Fool's Journey was supposed to be released first. I was going to do a Star Wars and release episode four
Oh,
first,
okay.
and
Yeah.
then at the
Yeah.
end go find out where it all began and go back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was told by every publisher that's dumb. Don't do that.
It didn't work for Star Wars, okay? No.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, but so I
Yeah.
listened to them. But no, I just pulled out a thing and started writing, and that's
Yeah,
kind of where it started.
that's so funny. So my next question was, what was your writing process like? Do you even have one? So I guess not maybe necessarily like your formatting or whatever, or like how you do it, but like what's your setup? Like how do you get into the zone?
I don't know if there's a zone because there's so many voices in my head normally. And I thought the rest of the world was like this. Apparently, they're not.
Yeah.
I'm crazy enough. I really have been narrating my life since I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
just like JD from Scrubs. And I thought that's how the rest of the world
Oh my God.
lived.
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't know that that wasn't normal until I said it out loud to somebody and they were like, what? And I'm
yeah.
like, you don't walk around with like an internal monologue constantly.
Yeah,
And they were
yeah.
just like, no, honey, nobody does. And I'm like,
Oh
really?
no.
I'm like, you don't put like music to your day
Yeah.
and do this and do that. And they were just like, no. I'm like, you don't pretend the dog's talking and whatever. And they were just
Yeah.
like, they were just staring at me like,
What?
and I just realized it. I backed up and went, maybe this isn't normal. It
Yeah.
was just that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a zone, but
Mhm.
I get ideas for a scene and I literally act it out in my head. And if I don't like a line, I'll go back and say it with a different genuflection because
That
I'm like, oh, maybe I got to say it, maybe I got to write it this way because that's not how I want it interpreted.
Wow, that's crazy. That's cool though, that you can literally just do the whole scene in your head and you're not even like taking notes and you're like, wait, let's rewind that. I want to rewrite that dialogue. So,
I didn't like, I look at everything as if, and this is not to be like, oh, I'm going to be on TV one day, but I think of it as a scene from a television show or a movie or whatever.
yeah.
And that's how I think of it. And I'm like, if I'm bored, the audience is going to be bored.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
if I can't catch my own attention, why would I expect somebody else to put money down and read it?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
constantly am like, nah, they wouldn't say that. And if I know when it feels right,
Yeah.
and then I go from there.
Okay. I feel like we've touched on a few different things, but what has been the biggest challenge for you as an indie author?
Visibility, I think, would be one of the biggest things,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
everybody says.
Yeah.
Um, Finding the right audience, for a long time. When I was with
Hmm.
traditional publishers, it was you can't be YA. They would not allow me in the YA category because volume one, they were religious and I had the whole blasphemy issue and blah, blah, blah. And then when I left and I put myself in YA, all of a sudden the numbers jumped. And I was like, I can be in YA. Like, it was kind of weird to see that
Yeah.
and realizing I am dark mythic fantasy, like finally
Hmm.
getting that, oh, this is what I am moment.
Hmm.
helped, but it's still not there. Like I am only now figuring out street teams and things like that. Where I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know what a street team is. Like, I don't know. But I do have a core group of readers that I adore that are just wonderful. Like today, one of them painted the edges of my book, did sprayed edges.
Oh,
And I was literally crying.
oh my
God
gosh.
bless you.
Like, did you post it?
Yeah, I posted, yeah. And I
Is it
did it
on
on
your
my
story?
story. Yeah. And
Okay.
I was like
Okay.
crying because I was like, I got a sprayed edge. And he was like, what? And
That's
I'm
so
like, oh, look, look. And I was just, it made my day. And
oh
I was like, somebody loves the book enough to do that. So visibility is a big thing, but I think when you find that you've made it on someone's list, when I mean like they love the book, you're
hmm
like,
yeah.
who cares about the algorithm? You feel
Right.
that way for like 5 minutes, you're just
Yeah.
like, who cares? But still, obviously visibility is an issue. I'm starting to see the cons have become more selective, you know,
Yeah.
like you can apply to 10 cons and it doesn't matter how many followers you have. They're picking like who they want there,
Okay.
you know?
hmm
Now granted, I'm immunosuppressed, so
hmm
I can't do a lot of them. Like I was supposed to do BookCon. I got invited. And then my doctor was like, absolutely not. What are you kidding me?
Oh
And
no.
I'm like, but it's book. And she was like, okay. Like she just looked at me like I was crazy. And I'm like, all righty then. She's like, I let you go to Comic Con. And what had happened? And I was like, I flared really bad. And she was like, yeah, we're not doing this again. So it's for me, I have issues because it's visibility and then I can't do in-person stuff.
That's just an extra hurdle that you have to, oh my gosh. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. That's rough. There's already so many limitations put on indie authors. So like to have that be taken away as well, that's hard.
It makes it a little, you try to just stay happy and
Yeah.
be like, that's okay. It's meant to be this way and blah, blah, blah. And then you're trying to find different ways
hmm
to just
You
reach
get
people.
creative, but I am just so thankful for my little like community because like I have an okay following, but like I only have about like 20 people that are like my ride or dies that are like
That's
constantly
always how it is.
my little like cheerleaders that are always interacting with my posts. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
it's like it's not many, but the fact that I even have that, I'm so grateful for. And I feel like that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of where you were going with um your community on
Yeah.
Instagram as well. It's like, I have this core group of readers, but hopefully we can expand on that a little bit. But I truly like my thing is like I truly believe every single author book has a reader. It's just a matter of
Yes.
connecting them and finding that group. And it's like,
Yes.
okay, so what was it? So do you sorry, but do
Mm-hmm.
you talk like have you talked to your readers and been like what was the thing that stood out? Like, what really grabbed you? Like, what was it? And then, like, do you use that information to then kind of milk it and, like, okay, well, let's expand on that aspect of it. If that's what drew you in, let's see if we can get more people in with, like, hyping up this aspect of the book, you know?
They're the ones who told me I was dark mythic fantasy. I didn't know.
Okay.
I
Okay.
just thought I was like, I'm like, oh, I'm YA fantasy. Maybe I'm epic. They're the ones who were like, no, this is like somebody wrote in a review, dark mythic fantasy. And I was like,
Interesting.
huh? I'm
Yeah.
like, what's dark mythic fantasy? Like it was one of those moments of what?
What is that?
They have that?
Yeah.
That's that. And other people were like, yes, that's exactly what it is. And then I got an email from a reader who said, he started it off with, I wish you were a guy. And I'm like, huh? And he's like, because I think you would have been discovered a long time ago. You write very old school Brandon Sanderson.
Oh.
And he's like, this is very front contextual loaded.
Hmm.
He's like, but I loved it. The reason I didn't pick you up was because the minute I saw a female writer in fantasy about the Fae, I expected this to be smut. So I didn't try you.
Huh.
He's like, it took me 3 years to pick your book up. I've now been through 4 of them. And he's like, and I love it. He says, I wish that, you could use your initials because I think more people would pick you up. And I was like, and he's like, I think, and he said, he's like, I went on your Goodreads, I looked at your reviews. He's like, the people who are saying, oh, this is info dumping, this is it. He's like, they don't know the very old school fantasy. And that's what you write like that.
Yeah, so that's what I don't know how old you are, but I'm 37 and I grew up reading like Piers Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever read any of his
I
work?
know who it is. Yeah. I've
Yeah.
done
So
my
when he
developmental editor mentioned him to me.
okay, yeah, so that when he's talking like that, I'm like, it kind of makes me like that's who pops into my head. I haven't read any Brandy Sandy except for Mistborn, but I don't know his early works, but I'm like, I bet it's like in that same realm of like Piers Anthony. Um, but I don't know. That comment kind of makes me feel icky. I don't like that.
I understood what he was getting at because I
Yeah.
was originally told by one of the big three when they were looking at me for Locked Out of Heaven, can you make your name DM Orsino? And I was all girl power. I'm like, I'm a chick. I'm not doing it, blah, blah, blah. Now I look at them and go, okay, maybe they had a point.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to hear from guys when they're just like, yeah, I didn't pick you up initially because they're now, a lot of people are putting fae and smut together. Not that there's anything wrong with that
Face
at
nut
all.
female
Yeah.
together. Yeah, right.
And there's nothing wrong with it. But you're disappointed when you pick my book up if that's what you're looking for in volume 1. In volume 2, with Fool's Journey, you're still disappointed because if that's what you're looking for, I don't give it to you. I
Yeah.
just, I like to make everybody wait. That's my thing. I make you wait. You know, I'm just, I'm a southern, I'm a southern good girl, I guess you could say, but I'm not southern. I'm a New Yorker, so you would think I'd give it out quick. But
it's interesting because there's just so many nuances with like the genre, right? Because somebody's like, you're mythic fantasy, and you're like, what is that? And it's like,
mhm.
don't do YA. You're not YA. But then I
Yep.
do YA, and it totally took off. And then it's like, you say slow burn, and people are surprised when it's a slow burn. And it's like, because like the tropes, right? Everyone's throwing out these tropes and like saying slow burn, enemies to lovers. And it's like, they start being like attracted to each other in chapter 5 and they kiss in chapter 10. And like, they were
I'm like,
just
that's
like,
not enemies.
they like fought for like 5 seconds in one chapter. And then they were like, oh, okay, cool. We'll be like friends. And or
We're
just
friends
like,
with benefits.
yeah. And it's like, so again, it's just like the all these genres and these tropes. It's like people get so caught up in them, and
Mhm.
then like get really invested in those categories and tropes and whatever. And it's like, but again, they're not getting the fast fix. Right? I don't know. Like
Yes, exactly. No, they get caught up in the trend
yes,
and they expect that. And I also think women are being pigeonholed. Like,
hmm
there's been articles like romantasy is ruining literature and blah, blah, blah. It's all BS. Look, if you're reading, I'm happy.
yeah,
We know that we've been on a downslide
yeah,
and romantasy and all that, that has helped.
yeah,
But with that, and because more women are writing it, of course, the patriarch has got to be like, it's horrible, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah.
yeah,
You know, but with that also becomes when you are a woman who's not writing that and you write political intrigue and blah, 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 people are like, are you any good at it? They
yeah,
kind of shrug at you.
yeah,
And so you're always walking this line.
yeah.
And it's hard.
So this is something that I kind of again harp on a lot, but I feel like traditionally published books, they get traditionally published because they fit this formula that everyone is seeking out right now. And I appreciate romantasy. I love romantasy, and but I get a lot of the same shit over and over and over
There's a
again.
formula to
Like,
it.
right. And it's like, and that's what they're pushing out right now. And so that's what everyone is seeing. And it's like, read indie books. You will get different stories. You will not get this cut and paste
No.
formula. Like, you will get unique stories. And it's like, we need to we need to talk about them more so that these get so that we're not just dealing with the same crap over and over again. We're like, it's so predictable. You know what I mean?
I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a behind the scenes quick. A Fool's Journey, when it was being shopped around way back with Locked Out of Heaven, because we didn't
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
one of the big five looked at it, and their whole thing was, can you make Graham and Morgan about 17 and 18? And I was like, what? And they were like, we're thinking hospital setting.
She's
and I'm like,
there.
hospital? And I was like, what? And they were like, maybe he's a resident. And I'm like, a resident? And I was like, what? And she's not feeling well, like she's going crazy. She's in the psych unit. And they retold the story by making them 17. And they were like, it'll be the next Twilight. And I'm like, and I remember just being like, what?
That's not my book.
I'm like, they can't be 17 and 18.
Yeah.
I was like, and they were like, well, no, we're thinking maybe he's a resident. And I'm like, okay, first of all, yuck. I'm like, ew, he's grooming. Yeah. I can't do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not the story. Like, that kills my whole thing. And I'm like,
literally, you would have
but
to
they were just going
book.
with what was hot at that time. And I'm like, no, I can't do that.
I'm so glad you didn't.
So like the mention you get is of Reese, Dr. Jack's son. Mm-hmm. And that's my like little tip off to that publisher. Yeah. Like, there's your 17-year-old, and maybe he'll get a spinoff just because you started this crap.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lincoln came to be because a publisher was testing me and asked for a vampire short story. And I wrote Lincoln, and then I went, I'm not giving him to you. Yeah. I like him now. And he got thrown in.
Keeping him.
Yeah, I was like, he's mine now. I like Lincoln. So it's funny that they have their fingers on the pulse of everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And once something works, they're not deviating from it. Mm-hmm. It's just not going to happen. So I understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same point, an indie author, we're going to take risks.
Yeah. And that's why I'm so grateful for what I've decided to do because I get, like, I'm still reading trad books. It's not like I'm like completely like not.
Oh no, I'm still reading Laurel K. Hamilton and everybody. Yeah.
I do it via audiobook now because all of my physical is
I love
indie books. Yeah. So, I'm so grateful that I get this opportunity to read all of these varying stories because although I do love romantasy and trad books, it's like they give me a break and they keep me on my toes and they give me new inspiration, right? And it's incredible. And I love it. And I think that people need to read more indie books, but also just show that there is a demand for more unique stories and that we don't all just want this cut and paste formula. Like, we do want to see unique stories out there. And it's like, again, readers have so much power. They have so much power, and that if we start talking about the little guys and these unique stories, and publishing houses are going to be like, oh, well, like, they're looking for this type of story rather than this type of story. So maybe we should like also include this kind of thing. Right. And so it's like, the more we talk about it, the more it gets picked up by the algorithm, the more it gets picked up by publishing. You know what I mean? It's just, we can start a chain reaction with our voices. And
oh no, I completely agree with you. I think that's well said, well put.
Thank you.
They're out there.
Yeah.
And the readers are out there and they're voracious. I don't look great for Yaros, Hoover, Moss, great for her. Like, good job.
Yeah.
I'm not putting you down. You got game, you got money in your pocket, go get it. That's wonderful. The issue I have is that none of that happened overnight. So let's not sell to the people that you were just sitting there one day and all of a sudden you got your book published and you're on the New York Times bestseller list the next day.
Yeah.
You were percolating for a good 3-4 years.
Yeah.
It didn't just happen. Some influencer picked it up, but they picked it up because we all know, the book was pushed out. to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And, the algorithm hit. So it's that attitude of it just happened. Like, J.K. Rowling now tells the story like, I was almost broke and I was just on a train and blah, blah, blah. And it's like,
Yeah.
girl, you studied the Greek classics in university.
Yeah.
Let's back up.
Mm-hmm.
Every monster is a play on a Greek monster. Hold on. Like, you weren't just sitting there going, what should I do today? I'm going to write a book. Like, you also studied this. So I think it's when the stories are put out that this just happened magically. It's like, no. Let's not polish that up. We can't polish that. It almost diminishes the indie author.
That's what I was just gonna say. Yeah.
Who's at the bottom of the mountain. I don't want to hear your story when you're at the top. I'll be honest. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Because right now you're in your mansion.
Yeah.
You're looking at your licensing deals and you're making your money. The rest of us who are still looking at like Ingram Spark and are going, I'm getting $1.97. And you're like, crap. And then you're sitting there going, I can't take returns because I'm going to get charged triple. And you're like figuring it out. And you're going, okay, but then this bookstore is not going to carry me. And you have all these problems. And then you got one of them, like one of the big authors going, it just takes one yes, people. And you're like, you just want to throw something at them. Because you're like, don't tell them that. It doesn't go. There's no advances anymore. Nobody's giving you a $10,000 advance to go write a book. Your second book is not guaranteed. I know one of my contracts that I turned down, it was my first for Locked Out of Heaven, and then Thine Eyes of Mercy was only they got first right of refusal. And I'm like, but it's a 6-book series. And they were like, aren't you cute? And I'm like, what? And I only got marketing for 1 month.
Interesting.
From them. And I'm like, hold on a second. And they were like, well, if you if it did well up to a point, I would continue. But if it didn't, I got help, but it wasn't help.
Yeah.
So there's so much more to this that people don't know that it's like, I'm not going to get on anyone's game, but it's not as simple as it sometimes is made out to.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know, okay, there's your developmental editor. There's your line editor, your copy editor. That has to go through so many times. You got your proofreader. If you do a beta reader, that's great. Not everybody does. Then you got to get your cover designed. And right now, with everything that's going on with AI, look, I appreciate everybody. Stop running authors' work through AI.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then being like, it's AI. Here's the thing, guys. AI wants to say it's AI because you keep putting it through AI. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're now training it on somebody else's work and they're going to tell you it's AI. So you keep running it for proof. Do you think it's not going to tell you? Like somebody was like, this is AI. I'm like, did the artist know you did that? And they were like, well, I had to prove it. I'm like, so you just trained AI on that artist's work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course it's going to tell you that because you're feeding it. And I'm like, what are you? It's like, I agree you shouldn't use it for artwork and for writing. Totally agree. But the witch hunt has gotten so out of control.
Yeah.
You used an M-dash.
You can't do M-dashes anymore. You can't list things in 3. You can't, what's another one?
I use an M-dash constantly.
I know. Well, I mean, there's people like bringing up like Pride and Prejudice or something like that. And it's like, oh, this must be AI because it's an M-dash. And then they zoom out and it's Pride and Prejudice. And it's like what are we doing?
Like,
what are we doing?
I'm just like, do not run my stuff through AI. Or I have somebody who's like, your artwork isn't credited. I'm like, because I'm not going to put my name on the. I want the other artists credited. You don't need to know what I did. Yeah, I do draw. I also have myasthenia gravis. So it gives me double vision and a shaky hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have myositis, which gives me a shaky hand, and my pinky doesn't close all the way anymore. So when I'm drawing sometimes, this forearm, it's hard to see, but it doesn't bend anymore. My wrist.
Oh no. Oh.
Yeah. God. So sometimes when I'm drawing, it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Will I go to AI and go, you got to fix this eye for me? Because I have been working 6 hours on it. it's not working anymore. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but it's my artwork.
Mm-hmm.
That's on me to do.
Yeah.
And people are like, I can't, I'm sorry, I can't read you anymore. I'm like, because of an eye? You're telling me I worked all that time, all that stained glass, all those reflections. And because I'm cross-eyed right now,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'm like, okay, like you can't win. And they don't understand,
Yeah.
you know, character art sometimes will cost you up to $3,000 for
Mm-hmm.
really good character art design. It can be up to $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, do you think I have $3,000 right now? And I
Yeah.
have 5 characters in my book. And even if they cut me a deal and go, Danielle, I'll do it for
Mm-hmm.
$2,000.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, but you can't use it for vellums, can't use it for bookmarks. And then they give you their list. And you're like, and they're like, but if you want to, it's 50% higher. And I'm like, uh, uh, so
Make any
there's a
money
lot
being
of
an indie author. I don't
nuances.
know how you do it.
Oh, I didn't say I was making money. I didn't say that. But there's just
That
a
was
lot
never
to it.
mentioned.
But I still wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah.
I still love what I do. I think everybody's got to meet in the middle, and we can't swing the pendulum too far one way or
Yeah.
too far the other way. This week it's AI. Next week it'll be something else.
Mm-hmm.
I think the community is still wonderful.
Yeah.
I just think sometimes we kind of regulate ourselves a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
And put ourselves in other people's shoes.
Mm-hmm. Compassion, right?
Compassion. That's why I don't leave reviews personally.
Mm-hmm.
I very rarely leave a review
Mm-hmm.
because I know what goes into writing a book.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. I'm like, oh, now after 9 books, I can't do it. I'm like, look, maybe the author was during a time in their life where they couldn't put 100% in.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're on book number 30 and they're like, I'm done with this character,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just leave it alone now.
So let's talk about something positive. What's
Yes.
your proudest moment so far in your writing journey?
Oh God, I'm gonna cry.
Oh.
There's a chapter. Writing the book Fire, Ice, Acid, and Heart was a big deal for me. My friend's dog, Callie, died. I wrote a short story about them, made her a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how Fire, Ice, Acid, and Heart was born, because all the dragons in my series are dogs that have passed on or are written as a tribute.
Mm-hmm.
That book was extremely close to my heart. My neurologist and good friend, Dr. Zabo, had asked to be a dragon in the series.
Mm-hmm.
He died 2 years ago.
Oh.
He never got to see his dragon portrait. It was used as his memorial, but he never got to see it. And that book meant a lot to me because it was really a note, a love letter to pet parents.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really a story about heart and home.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever your heart is where your home is. And this dragon and this rider, it's about them being together and how they're stronger together, and they kind of both support each other in this tournament. So that was one of my proudest moments, because it was a book that was never planned. It just happened.
Yeah.
But I was told to leave out a chapter in Locked Out of Heaven, which was Destiny, Thy Name is Los, which told Los the dragon's backstory. And I was always told, leave it out. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to care. And I listened to them. And so this go round, I was able to put it in. And even people who've given me a bad review have said, but I like the dragon. I like the little dragon. I like that chapter. I like him. And so the fact that I could do him justice has always made me feel good.
Yeah.
And I have people asking me when my other dog, Penelope, is going to make her appearance, because I refer to her as Lady Penelope. So they all know it's coming. And I'm like, she's a white deer with lightning antlers because she electrocuted herself when she was a puppy and she was fine. So that's what I made her. So the fact that people now ask about them, that makes me smile, because even though Carlos is no longer with me, the fact that he's touched so many people as Los the Dragon.
Yeah.
And that people have come to me and said it means a lot. I think that's something.
That's the most beautiful thing, because it's like you put your heart and soul into this work, your personal life into this, and to have someone, even if they didn't like your book or it wasn't their favorite, but it was like that one thing was what stuck out to them. Or, you say you put a lot of yourself into Morgan, and this is what I think is really important, is that, especially about indie books, is that authors put themselves into their work. And we talk about topics that are sometimes harder to talk about. And we put a spotlight on these things, on these issues, and, mental health issues, or just health issues in general, or whatever. But it's like, these topics need to be talked about, and it helps people to feel seen. And so to have something like that about people and pets who are so near and dear to your heart, and have that be the one thing that stuck out, even with somebody who this wasn't the book for them, but that was the one thing. And it's like, what a beautiful thing to have happen. That's amazing.
That's been one of my prouder moments in all of this. But to be honest, just to be an author and have somebody like my book.
Yeah.
I
you don't ask for much.
I'm happy. I mean, even with all the negative things I've brought up, and yeah, I like to expose them, because a lot of people say, oh, I didn't know that. It's not to be a Debbie Downer. It's not to blame. It's just to say, hey, this is what goes into it. So before you call that author out, just understand this. Yeah. And so maybe you'll look at it differently. But just when somebody says they like the book, I'm already happy. I'm thrilled that you spent your money.
Yeah.
And that's why making the experience immersive, thinking about the cover, thinking about the QR code, all of those things go into it, because I'm like, somebody's going to spend their money on this.
Yeah.
I need to make sure that they walk away, whether it's an ebook, an audiobook, a physical book, holding it going, okay, this was worth it. This was totally worth it.
Yeah.
She didn't cheat me out of anything.
Right.
That's what I want it to be. So I just want to be somebody's tour guide. I don't have that attitude that some of the authors have, like, I'll allow you to read my book. No. I'm like, come on, jump on my back. We're going in.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. And, come into my little world, have a ball. If you got questions, let me know. But just have a good time. And if you see yourself in a character, or you see somebody you know in a character, pull from it what you will.
Yeah.
And have fun.
What advice would you give to other indie authors, or people who are thinking about becoming an indie author?
Research the game. Make sure you understand the editing process, the difference in editors. Get an editor.
Yeah.
Get a professional one.
Yeah.
Know the difference between developmental editor, copy editor, line editor, those things. And once you find one, make sure they know your genre.
Okay.
Don't have a romance editor, and your fantasy with no romance. That's sometimes it doesn't match.
Yeah.
And you have to know all aspects of it. You have to know how KDP works. You have to know how Ingram Spark works. You have to get a professional cover done. Don't try to make it yourself. Don't AI it.
Yeah.
Get somebody who understands your vision. There's a lot of great ones out there, but really know the game from A to B. And when you write, just get something on the paper. You can't edit what's not on the paper. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just start writing.
Yeah.
The rest will figure itself out. But just start writing, and don't write don't think you're writing the next Twilight. Just write the book you want to read.
Right. Exactly.
Somebody else will want to read it.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Whether it's 2 million people or two, somebody else will want to read your book.
Mm-hmm.
But don't cater it for the public.
Yeah.
Just write for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The rest will happen.
Yeah. That's great. I love that. So we're starting to wrap it up here, Danielle. How can readers and people connect with you?
I'm on Instagram. That's where I'm most active at DM Orsino author. I finally got my butt on TikTok after all this time. That only took 10 years. And I'm at the same handle, DM Orsino author.
Okay.
I think I'm on Facebook. Yeah, I'm on Facebook. But I'll be honest, guys, I don't answer Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be honest with you. If you want to talk to me, go to Instagram, go to TikTok. That's where you'll find me. You can go to my my website, dmorsino.com, and sign up for my newsletter.
Yep.
I don't spam you. You get it 2 times a month, and they're short. But I do a lot of giveaways through that. I actually do a giveaway every month.
Oh,
so I'm
very cool.
always giving you crap. It actually comes from Penelope. Penelope Maicini calls herself the giveaway queen. She's probably going to make me broke with all the giveaways she does. But we do that in every newsletter, and it's easy stuff to do. It's not like, we're going on treasure hunts. But those are the best places. All my books are sold on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, bookshop.org. You can find them anywhere. Audible, they're all audiobooks as well.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I saw.
Next time I'll just do that for you.
Yeah. Well, so when I'm doing an indie author, like when I'm promoting an indie author, like I need to have like the ebook because I need to annotate and like I do all these other things. But yeah, I saw that on because I was going through your posts today and I was like, she got this narrated?
Yeah, I got Marguerite Gavin.
But the book club, that's going to make a lot more people read it because a lot of people do audiobooks for convenience because it's just they have more time for it.
I love audiobooks myself, and the narrator is actually Marguerite Gavin, who did the Hollow series for Kim Harrison. And that's how I found her. And then I just sent her an email and was like, fire in the hole. And sent the email, and she replied to me within an hour and was like, let's talk. And I think I started crying while I was at my computer. Because I was like, oh my gosh, this is Marguerite Gavin. And she read the book and went, when do you want to get together? And I was like, Rachel Morgan's going to be Morgan. So, but yeah, all my books are on Audible, and I'm pretty much wherever you can find me.
Yeah,
if you
have any
questions,
are you on like any of the like library apps like Libby or Hoopla?
Book volume 1 is starting to get on them. I know I'm on Fable and a couple of those. Like we're building it up. They're putting it out there. I know Locked Out of Heaven is. Fire, Ice, Acid, and Heart is, and I believe Thine Eyes of Mercy is. So we're pushing out. You're pushing out the rest as we go.
You're everywhere.
I'm still learning the game.
Question was where can readers purchase your book? Okay, so everywhere.
Everywhere.
So do you have any final messages for readers, or do you have any maybe teasers or new projects coming up? You have a couple books coming out soon, so.
Well, I guess I'll give you the little hint and the scoop. I have 2 things. International Fairy Day is coming up at the end of June. And there may be a limited edition run called the Lapis Lazuli cover of volume 1. All of the books, because the first edition of Locked Out of Heaven has been such a bane to my existence. But I loved the cover. I've decided, screw it, I'm going to embrace it. And I went back to the original cover designer. And all of the covers that I had originally planned to release that the second publisher said, no, we hate, and put me on the cover instead. I went back and grabbed, and we took the crystal Lapis Lazuli, which is this blue crystal, and went, make them all in an ombre design. So when you see them, they're all in different shades of blue. And so we may be
Ooh.
releasing those right around International Fairy Day.
I did not know
So
that that was a
stay,
day, and I'm very excited
yes.
for that.
So stay tuned. Look on Instagram for that. Sign up for the newsletter.
So
They will
cool.
be sold just for a small period of time. They'll all be hardback, and then we'll see what we do. Maybe we keep it, maybe we don't. And I am writing a sequel to Peter Pan.
What?
I am jumping into gothic Edwardian horror called Never Ever Wendy's Revenge.
Oh my God. That sounds so awesome.
It will be one book. I am not doing a series. It's
Yeah.
one book. It's a one book shot.
Wow.
That's it. And it's told from an omniscient point of view, but it
Oh.
focuses on Wendy
Huh.
and what happened after she got dropped off back home.
Oh, very
And
interesting. So is that currently being written or have you already
yes,
wrote
I'm actually about a third of the way book, a third of the book is done.
it? Okay.
Um, and
Wow.
it's all plotted out. It's done. I am changing a lot of the lore that we know and love.
Cool.
And
Why not?
we're going to play with that a little bit. And I'm going to dip my toes in Edwardian Gothic horror, see where I get.
That's so
And
cool. I'm excited for
we're going to
you.
play with that. So
Yeah.
those are my projects. And then I do have, which I announced on Instagram, Los's Guide to Life.
Hmm.
Uh, why blend in when you can stand out? And it is his 13 lessons that he learned living with the dark fae. And
I
it's
love it.
told from a little dragon's point of view. The edits are done, and then Pandy, my dragon illustrator, will
Mhm.
decide how many pages we're going to illustrate, and that will be out. I don't know when exactly I'll release that. Um,
Oh,
I'm still, I got to get through that a little bit,
yeah,
but
yeah.
that will be released. So we have a couple projects.
You have
You
so much
know,
going on. You're amazing. You're
I'm
juggling so
trying.
much.
I think I'm staying busy to stay numb, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I get
we've
it.
got a couple things, and then the second book is Of Scars and Kisses
Okay.
for
Yeah.
volume two of
Hmm.
Scars and Kisses.
Hmm.
And then the third book is called Secrets Etched in Souls.
Ooh.
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 So,
When are you
and
doing a
that
cover reveal for book two? You haven't done it
I
yet, have
don't know yet. No, I
you?
have not done it.
Okay.
I have not
Cool.
done it.
Okay.
Um, and then book three will actually have a teaser for volume three.
Ooh, interesting.
So
I'm gonna absolutely volume one.
you will get a feel for where it's going and how
Yeah.
these two worlds are going to really mesh.
Hmm.
Um, but my plan is for volume three to be the end of that world, but it will be open that, we can kind of come back and visit
Okay.
and see. So I'm not saying goodbye completely. It's nothing like
Yeah.
that. It's
Mhm.
just see you later. And
Wow.
we'll see kind of where things go from there. But we've got a couple irons in the fire.
Yeah, my goodness, Danielle. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to talk to me. I'm so excited for May and to get some readers introduced to your book.
Thank you so much for doing this. I really do appreciate it. And I'm
Yeah.
just grateful to any reader who picks it up and who
Hmm.
watches this.
Hmm.
And, I'm excited.
All right, you guys. Well, if you want to check out Danielle's work, I will put her links below. And until then, happy reading.